All right, what we're going to be looking at here is the Unit 2 Service Operating Matrix characteristics. Now, when we look at this, we can scroll down to the Unit 2. You open that, you'll see the Service Operating Characteristic Matrix submission there. And you click on that, and it kind of gives an overview there. But what you want to look at for this matrix submission is you're going to look at it within the course information. That's where it's going to be right there. So if we're looking at it from the course information, this is the main aspects we're going to have to complete here in terms of the service matrix rubric. So this is the scoring guideline. It's what you'll be graded on. Now when we look at this, we can go back home. We can scroll. I'm scrolling down here a little bit. Nope, too far. Mouse is a little bit touchy here. Go to the course information. And once it opens up, we can scroll down here and then we can go to where the course project heading is, but you see the Service Operating Characteristics Matrix instruction. That's what we want to use. So when we look at this, open this up, it gives us a little bit of information, gives us an example of the table we're going to be using. That's going to be the main thing we're going to use to compile that data, drop it down in there for this assignment. And then it does give us a link here. That link gives us to a resource that has a little bit of information, kind of an example. Doesn't going to give you everything, but you see kind of there what those average lengths of stays, or ALOS is what we commonly call those. But you have a link here where if you click on it, it's going to download that in Word format for you. So this is going to be that matrix in Word format for you, and this is what it looks like. You can fully edit that, drop in your numbers, type whatever you want to in there. That's where you're going to put your information for the course project, not for the course project, but for this submission here. What you can do, you can utilize Google to get some information. You're not going to get everything you need from that one source. You are going to have to look at several sources for this. If I can type here, there we go. So you look at that, and here's kind of an example of kind of a string to search from. And then here's some examples of kind of what you may find once you do that searching. Listing of hospital charges, average length of stay. We want to make sure we're using valid sources for these. So if I go through and look here, there's some other ones you can kind of go by. It may give you, some suggestions. 2013 CMS statistics. I'm not concerned about what year you use. Whatever year you could find for the information. I just want you to find the information. That's going to be the biggest thing. So we're going through here. Let's take a look at one here. So overview. We'll go to. Let's do a little bit of a different search. Let's go back to kind of the standard one. There we go. Average length of stay in hospital. And there we go. So this is the HCUP stats, and you see the table right there, how it has a lot of information there for you. If you look up to the top, it says all hospitals. That is one of your lines right there. Hospitals. You can use all hospitals. So you kind of see, you find that information, and you look at average length of stay. What does it say right there? It says 4.5. So you got your 4.5, and then you plug in your 4.5. There we go. You may not find them all in one source. So you may not find every single data point you need, so you might need to go to some other different sources to find some things for that same line. It's not going to be a one-stop shop per se. You might get lucky and find one that does have all the information you need, but for the most part, you're going to find at least 3 to 4 of those points you need within one source, especially looking at the ALOS aspects and cost per stays. Now the accreditation generally going to be JCO or state. That's kind of the standard. That's kind of the standard for it. When you get into more of the nursing homes and home health, you may have some specialized ones, but predominantly most hospitals are going to be JCO or state accredited. Same thing for nursing homes though too. They're going to be JCO or a state for the most part. Joint Commission does have a nursing home or long-term care certification as well. So that's kind of how we look to search for that information. You can change that string up if you want to look for nursing home statistics. You want to make sure that you're using a reputable source. So if you just, for the more specific ones, if you just type in nursing home, you're not as descript as we were before. You may come up with some that probably aren't going to be the best of references, even though they may give you some information. So let's see here. For example, here we've got this one, Jerry Pal. That's a blog. That's not going to be a reference we're going to want to use. It's one that's not going to be a valid reference. So, what we may want to do to switch that up and to make that work for us is type in CMS. CMS is going to have this information here. If we bring up this one here, cms.gov, here we got some of the information. We're looking at nursing homes, probably going to be a medium rehab ADL. Some of you may be familiar with those. So CMS is going to be a good source for those. But you got some of the information right there. You look at the total number of days, and this is 2013 data. You have that. You're probably going to have to look for a few of the other points within there. But this is one you're probably going to have to use multiple sources. One source is going to get it all for you. And then again, what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to go ahead and plug that information in. You can cut and paste it from that actual table if that works. Or you just go ahead and you can, move your screen, write it down, whatever you want to do, piece of paper, notepad, or, got my calendar up there. You just go ahead and arrange it so you can kind of move the screen down and type it down in there as well. Whatever route you want to take there, but you want to get that data within those corresponding parts on that word format. So, as you see here, you just go down the line. Didn't want to paste there, so you can type it in there. My MacBook gets a little bit finicky sometimes. Some of them may be the same, so the average charges and the average costs may be the same with nursing homes. And you just kind of move them down the side here. And you look at the major payers aspect. Normally going to be Medicare, Medicaid, and private. I'm not going to count off if you don't get into, it's BCBS, it's Anthem, or it's, Alliance or whatever. Just rank them in order. So like that one, I went Medicare, Medicaid, and then I went to private. If you look at the other hospital stays, it may be private, Medicare, Medicaid. Just rank those main ones in order. I'm not looking for whether Anthem or whether, whoever else is ranked number one or not. So I'm not going to get that descriptive in it. And then you just go down through each one of those, and that's what you do for each one of them. You look for your sources, and you find that data, and then you plug it in. And there's that grading criteria right there. You do want to make sure you include the references. You need to include the references for your data. So make sure you write those down, type them as you're going through the actual exercise there. So make sure you're doing that. All right. And contact me if you have any questions. All right, you guys take care.